uncharacteristically for me, I have struggled a bit about what to say today. But in character also, I have settled on 4 things. The first thing is that Ata Aidoo is a completely Ghanaian-made creation. It's important. I feel like I have to say that all the time. The parts of her creation starts on some stretches of road in the central region that includes villages and towns like Ekumfi Asafa, Enyan Denchira, Inkusum Kwanta, Abiazi Domnasi, Abiazi Chapel. It continues on to Takrady and Cape Coast and the homes of number 14 for. Continues on to Wesley Girls, goes to Accra, where her mentors were, one of whom is here today, includes homes in Nima and Araba Mansa, goes back to Cape Coast University of my childhood. It is all Ghanaian made. Her feminism, her Pan-Africanism, her socialism, her sensibilities, her storytelling, her experimentation with form, and the fact that she's a writer, everything is Ghanaian made. Sometimes we tend to doubt our own selves. We are a great people because we produce great people. And we are very capable. So that's the first thing. The second thing is that, she's sitting there smiling. You need to fix your scarf. The first thing is, everything she has, the only thing she wants to do at any given moment is right. She's sitting here close to tears because Professor Nketia is sitting behind her. She's enjoying this. But if you gave her an option, she would rather be in a room writing, which is also wonderful for her because it's the best thing she has ever done and will continue to do. And I say this even as her daughter, it is the best thing my mother has done for me. So we are all equal. But then wanting to write all the time has also introduced the biggest challenge in her life, which is something she terms finding the space to write. If you ask her what are her worries, it is, of course, Ghana, Africa in the condition. But it is finding the space to write. And with space, she means physical space, as in a room that is quiet and no one bothers her. As in societal space, so that being who she is, she's not called upon to be who she is all the time in Ghana. You see what I mean? Oh, Ata Aidoo, please do this. No, she wants societal space. She wants familial space, and that also includes parenting space. So when I was growing up, she would be sitting at her desk and I would want something, and she's like, go away, I'm writing, I didn't mind that so much because she was happiest when, she's always been happiest and most content when she's writing. The space to write also means financial space. So all the spaces that people need, all the spaces that you can imagine, my mother has wanted that space and the distance away from all that to write. The other thing I want to say is that this center represents all those things, that it is Ghanaian made, it gives people a space to write, and it encourages people to do the things that they may want to do the most, which is writing. Being an African woman writer, now I think it's a bit easier, but I grew up among a cohort of African writers, African women writers who have struggled to produce what they know they want to produce. So while we are here celebrating my mother, I also want to tell you that there are books that are missing from our shelves, which she should have written, and it's a pain, because she hasn't had the space to write. and other African women writers also haven't had the space to write. This year, we lost two of them, Buchi Emecheta of Nigeria and Miriam Thilali of South Africa. I have said that a death among these cohorts, this particular group, always makes me feel insecure because that is the community within which I was raised. And so if this center makes it easier for women writers to write and for Ghanaian and the general public to appreciate and write, it's a very good thing. My mother once, we were talking one day, our favorite topic, which is writing poetry and women writers. And she made a comment about how in Africa, people don't tend to appreciate women writers. And largely that is true, like critics. People start listing African writers, and they'll just miss out the women altogether like they don't exist. But I had to remind her that for her especially, Ghana has shown a lot of appreciation. Of course, there are the national honors that she received. There are the people who read her, people who want to hug her when they see her in public. They want to hug me when they see me in public, which I gladly accept. When I first came back home to settle, we got a lovely invitation from Koko Amatefio. She was then the head of the National Theatre. It was the Living Legend series, she said. And they were honoring 3 poets or 3 writers, my mother, Kwesi Bru, and Kofi Awono. And I think I can't put in a hierarchy the honors that my mother has received that matters the most. But I want to always say about what Koko did because it was just fantastic. And it was amazing to see Mommy, Uncle Kofi, and Kwesi Bru on the same platform. And I'm so glad that happened. Lately also, in fact, last year, one of the schools of visual arts in Kumasi, and what's his name, Mommy? Bernard Akoy Jackson, and caricature. They put up an exhibition at the National Museum of Science and Technology. Works by, I think, over 50 artists inspired by one of my mother's best poems and one of my favorites, Cornfields in Accra. And I'm saying on behalf of her and myself, it was completely, it was unbelievable actually. And we were so touched and honored. Lately also, Manifest, who is here today, releasing his latest album, inspired by my mommy's short story, Nowhere Cool. And actually getting her to record a section of the short story to include on that song. So Manifest has also introduced her to a whole new, you're very cool now. Very cool. So this center, and Mommy, you've been very lucky, You've been very lucky. When we launched her last book, and by the way, she has a new book out. When we launched her last book, Diplomatic Pounds, at the British Theatre, at the British Council, she said something I'd never heard her say before, actually. She said everybody she told that she wanted to be a poet or a writer encouraged her, and that nobody discouraged her. That is an amazing statement, not only about her, but also about who we are, about the people whom she loved, who loved her, who raised her, who mentored her, the type of people that they are. Professor Nketia is one of them, so you can imagine. If for Sutherland is one. The Pras of Nima are one. And a whole bunch of other people. And I thought, this is just fantastic that regardless of the central struggle about the space to write, you've had people that have encouraged you, you've gone on and continue to do the best thing and the only thing you have ever wanted to do. And now there's a center on your... if this is not winning, I don't know what is. I mean, we could use some more money to win, but we are winning, as they say. I want to thank Koleanka, Honorable Koleanka, and AUCC, and me, Ayikwe Pals. I'm thanking you in advance because you have a lot of work to do. And I want to really, please clap for them. And Dr. Koyo and Right.